Welcome to Genred Off Book. I'm Katie.
And I'm Elise.
And today we are joined by our very good friend, Emily Zogbi. Hi, Emily.
Hello.
Hey.
Please introduce yourself and thank you so much for coming.
Oh my God, of course. I'm so honored. It took us a while to get here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it really
it
did.
did. It did. It did.
So hi, I'm Emily Zogbi. I'm a poet and editor, reluctant journalist. I'm published. I have a book, All the Time More Than Anything, plug right at the top.
Yep.
And we know each other because your sister Amanda, friend of the pod,
Mhm.
Yes.
a guest star sometimes.
Always. Yeah.
Always is one of my very best friends in the whole
Yes.
world. And we were roommates, and I know her because she is roommates and best friends with my cousin Nicole.
Mhm.
And that's why you guys call me Emmy, which I
Yep.
think is so funny because Emmy is usually something that's only reserved for family.
Oh.
But that's how Amanda knows me, is like because Nicole calls me Emmy, and now you guys by extension call me that, which I love.
Yep.
So in many ways, you guys are like my cousins.
Yeah,
that's
basically.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
I was
that's how
thinking
it
when
works.
Katie introduced you as Emily, I knew your God-given name wasn't Emmy.
Well, yes, yeah.
So, but I was like, we not calling her Emmy? And no, that's a family-only name. I didn't know.
That's the thing. It's like I'm not like offended if people that who aren't family call me that, but it is like people don't usually call me that. But I love it. I like it. It's
Well,
fun.
you know, I always say it's however you're introduced to me. So if you are introduced
Exactly.
to me as Emmy or as Paul, that will be your
Mhm.
name. Unless
Oh my
I've
God.
given you your own nickname,
Which will
however you're
happen.
in, which always happens, but however you are introduced to me is what you will
Yeah.
be therefore
Alternate
known
universe where I was introduced to you as Paul, and that's just like my
Yeah,
name now.
yeah.
as Paul.
Paul.
I don't even know. It's not like, I don't know why that was the first thing that came to mind.
Yeah.
Not like
do-
Paulie. Little Paulie.
Yeah, I was going to say, do Pauls usually not introduce themselves to you as Paul?
I know, Polly.
Yeah,
You're
Polly.
right, yeah.
Little Mikey.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. I'm honored and flattered and stoked. Yeah, I was telling Elise earlier, I was listening to episodes to kind of like prepare myself and psych
my
myself
God.
up.
You
Yes.
are so cute.
Production
so
quality
prepared.
is immaculate.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that.
And of course, I was telling her that, as we always say, this is just basically an AV club now, and it's something always goes awry, and we have to fix it. And it did take us 40 minutes to get
The
you
better
logged
part
in.
of an hour.
Oh, yeah.
Make
So
this
there's
happen.
always an adventure, and that's just the
Yes.
way it goes.
Yep.
Mhm.
It's the whole part of you want to
Yeah.
make a podcast, and then
Yeah.
this is now your life, is
Yeah.
deleting Google Maps off your phone because you don't have enough
That's-
storage.
Yeah.
Enough storage.
And now we're going to
recording.
know the next time that somebody can't get on, we're going
Yeah.
to be like, have you tried
Have you
deleting
tried?
Google Maps off your phone?
Yes.
That
Yeah,
might
get
be
that
the
off.
answer.
Get that out of here.
outta
You don't
here.
need
Yeah.
that.
Get it back later. You're not going
Yeah.
anywhere.
Your phone comes with a Maps app. You don't need the extra.
Yeah.
Such
Yeah,
a
what's
trash app, though.
Yeah.
So bad.
Apple Maps.
So bad.
So bad.
It's confusing.
I know. Listen.
I am going to bring up maps at some point during this conversation because I feel like the best books, fantasy books, but also books in general, when you open
Have
that first
maps.
page and there's a map, I'm like, yes, we're about to get into it.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. All those books back there have a map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not only fantasy books. Me and Katie just read a book that
Yeah.
was a horror rom-com. And and when you opened it up, it had a map of the club they were stuck in. And that's helpful because they were being, chased by a murderer. And so
That's
like
fun.
and they had to like hide and things. I was like, this is cool. This makes this book even cooler.
Okay, let me ask you guys a question. So, like, when
Yeah.
a book has a map, are you
Yeah.
referring to the map throughout the story?
Fuck no. Fuck no.
Sometimes.
And here's the problem. So I think it's because I'm mostly a digital reader. I wish I don't even know if this is a thing, but like if you are talking about maybe certain places, if they were underlined and then if you clicked it on your Kindle, it opened up the map like in a deeper view, like that would be really cool.
Once again, Katie
Yeah.
giving Amazon pointers that they never listen to.
I like that as a way of like making a book as interactive as possible because right now
Yeah.
how it exists on Kindle it truly is just like tap page turn.
Yeah.
But that would make it like I don't know. Not gamify it, but I like the I would like that. I would like the interactive nature of that. A new way to book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A new way to book.
Because
Yeah.
it would bring it closer to like a a physical book because like you can flip back and forth like in a physical
Yeah.
book. So
But, like, you're not doing that on a Kindle because then you gotta get the navigation bar down, then you're clicking, then you gotta get back
Yeah,
to your
doing the whole
spot.
thing.
It's not gonna work.
yeah.
Yeah.
How do you usually read? Are you like a
Ugh.
Kindle, audiobook, physical book, a mixture of all of them?
It depends on the book.
Okay.
Like, I'm a book hoarder. I love to have the physical
Mhm.
thing. Like, I love a bookcase.
Yeah.
Books are always the heaviest and most pain in the ass thing to move.
Mhm.
But
Doesn't Elise know?
Yeah.
I am always lugging my little library around that I've amassed over like 30 years of my life. And it is 30 years because I still have children's books that I got for like my
Yeah.
first birthday.
Yeah.
We have ours
Um
too.
so I do love because I like to annotate too, which you can
Mhm.
do on Kindle. So like when I am reading that way, I am highlighting and like making notes.
Mhm.
But I usually prefer like a physical book. That being said, if I'm reading something really like trashy or a book where I'm like, I just want to read it to like have read it and be able to talk about it, but I don't necessarily need it to take up space on my
Yeah.
bookshelf. That's going on the Kindle app.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
Yeah.
if it's like free on the Kindle Amazon thing and I'm like, well,
Yeah.
why the
Kindle
fuck am I gonna
Unlimited.
buy it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Kindle Unlimited? Hell yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we say. Like, we have a pretty big library here, but if it's a book that you've read that you really, really want to read or your favorite book ever, those are the types of physical books that we're allowed to purchase.
Yes.
But
Yeah. Well, Katie
otherwise,
gave me a rule in which I'm only allowed to purchase books that I've read,
mhm.
and I follow it mostly. I
I was
follow it
Mostly.
thinking
mostly.
I was thinking about this today actually, like the rules I have for myself in terms of buying books. Like I
Yeah.
made a rule for myself fucking 6 years ago that I can't buy any new books. I can only read books that I haven't read yet that are on my bookshelf.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
they're free and like I
Yeah.
can't buy new books until I read through all
Finish
the
them
most
all.
obvious finish them all. Obviously, I haven't I like
Yeah.
I've strayed from the path,
Yes, I
obviously.
could
You've
imagine.
But
cheated a
I like
bit.
but I try to like really I try to like hold to that and like the rules I made for myself were like the books that I can buy, they have to be used.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
You do a
Um
lot of used books too.
Yep.
yes, and I love a used bookstore. It's like my
Ugh.
favorite
We have
place
such a good one
anywhere.
down here. You have to come.
Oh my god, yes.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh yeah, it's like my favorite place anywhere is a used bookstore. Um, and poetry books I can always buy. New, whatever, like that's my
That's
rule.
Yeah.
okay.
Because
Okay.
that's like because it's work.
That's
But it's
Yeah,
not
'cause
you're a
work,
it's like
but it is
literal
work.
you can expense it. You can
You're
I
expense
can
a
it.
expense
literal
it to
poet.
myself.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Huh.
Like that LLC that maybe you're gonna make one day or
I
whatever.
really should do that. I should do that to be honest for tax purposes, but you know, whatever. So the last book I actually read on Kindle Unlimited, not unlimited, but that I was like, I'm not going to buy this, but I have to just read it on my Kindle was like a horny Peter Pan hook
Oh, I
retelling
think
that
I
I
read it.
can't remember what it is. I think it's called Hooked.
Right, I have read Hooked.
I think the one Katie's talking about is the Never King.
That
Never
was like a
King.
Peter Pan Wendy Lost Boys scenario.
Okay, yeah.
I think I texted Elise and I was like, I felt like this book was not appropriate.
And it was a
Like
It's not appropriate at all.
It wasn't
No.
appropriate in that I don't think I like dark, sexually explicit books where I don't really know if there was consent there, but something starts happening.
Maybe that is. I think I did also read Hooked, but I think
Hooked is just a regular old smutty romance, and it's sort of like if Peter Pan happened now. So like Peter Pan was
Okay,
like a mafia person, and Hooked is like the old mafia person, something like
Okay,
that. I'm
got it.
forgetting the exact
I
what they
think
were
actually
doing.
you are right. Like I am thinking about the Never King. The point is that it was bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
Yeah, no, I didn't like it either. I
I'm
finished
glad-
it.
Yes. Well, I was like, it was one of those things where I was so curious. And you know, like I love a horny little book. Like,
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah.
smutty little
And
romance books is what we call them.
Yeah, like why not? But I was reading and I was like, oh, this is only smut, only dark, only
Like there's no plot. Like to
there's
that.
no plot. I need a little bit of plot, and also I just like hated how it was written.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
It just like was not for me.
No, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
And like that, thank God you don't spend good money. Books
Yeah.
are expensive and
I didn't
books are
even read the
expensive.
Never King because I knew it was a dubious consent book, and I was like, I don't read those.
Yes.
Those are not for me.
Oh my God, even in my days of fan fiction reading, like
Yes.
anytime I saw dubious consent on like the
Yeah.
tag
Yeah.
Yeah.
thing, I was like, no,
Nah.
that's just not for
Same.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, so you were a fan fiction girly too? What was your what was your show? What was your book? What was your whatever?
Oh my
I had a couple.
God.
I had a couple that I was deep
I also
into.
had a couple. So the top one, the reigning champion, is obviously Supernatural.
Yeah. Nice. Okay.
Supernatural.
That was a huge one. It was too scary for me to watch, so I couldn't do
Yeah.
that, but that was always huge on fanfiction.net.
I did not know
Or
that. Wow.
Fanfiction.net. So like fanfiction.net, what I was reading on that website, on that .net,
yeah.
was was Harry Potter
Yeah,
fanfiction
me too.
in a big way.
Yeah.
Oh, in a big way. And it was like so innocent too. Like I wasn't doing like I never liked like original character inserts.
Yeah.
I wanted the characters and I
Yeah.
wanted them to be doing stuff. And it
Okay.
didn't even have to be like sex. I just wanted them to kiss a little bit more than they did in the books. That was really it. That was really it. Like one of my favorite fan fictions was like a one shot, and it was just like Ginny and Harry just like kissing in the kitchen. I was like, this is awesome.
And you're like, this is it. This is the slice of life I was looking for.
Exactly.
Wait, can we just talk about this really quick? Because I was not aware that. Did you know there's a new Harry Potter coming out? Like a new Harry Potter TV show?
Yes. Oh yes. I did know this. I don't know
Okay.
anything about it. But I saw a
have missed
screenshot.
it. I found out yesterday.
Really? Okay, what are your thoughts?
So I guess it was the trailer that came out yesterday.
Haven't seen it.
And-
No. Yeah.
And so I didn't know anything. Brianna had texted us and she was like, whoa, like, what do you guys think about this Harry Potter trailer? And I watched it and I was like, oh, it looks like it's the same story. Like they're little kids. They're going to Hogwarts for the first time. I thought it was going to either be a prequel or something that happened way later. And it's not. It's
No, it's
just
just
the
a-
same story again.
Are they
just a
just
reboot.
they're just doing the movies but as a show?
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
assume the first season's the first book.
And the kids are cute. Like the kids
The
are
kids
really
are
cute.
cute.
They're young and adorable. Harry's very cute.
He's really cute.
Yeah, I watched it. I was like, this kid is adorable. Like Ron's
Yeah.
adorable. Hermione's adorable. These are like small children.
Harry Potter really was like the first book series that I was like reading ravenously, and
Yeah.
like every time I went to the store and I had finished one book, I was like begging my mom. I was like, can we get them 2 at a time? Like
Yeah, I'm
I am
gonna
like
finish it.
devouring these books.
Yeah.
Like loved them so much. Like
Yeah.
again, was reading fan fiction.
Yeah, love the.
It was like it
fanfiction.
was truly my first foray into like the fan fiction universe, because I was like, the books just weren't enough. Like I
Yeah.
needed more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that.
I was
I get that.
definitely deep in the Harry Potter fanfiction. My first fanfiction, though, and I actually think this might age me a little bit, was Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon was
Oh,
my
yeah.
first fanfiction. That was what got me into fanfiction because I was only
Mhm.
watching the American dubbed Sailor Moon just because it was too hard to get anything other than that, which meant I had to like wait for it to be on TV. Like it was only on like very certain times.
Yeah, it was on
And-
after school, I remember.
Yeah. And then before school, like at 6 a.m., I would watch it getting ready for school.
Wow.
And there was only so much of story that was American dubbed. So you would never get the full arc. You would never
Yes.
get the full arc of the story.
You were just
So-
getting like bites of
Yeah.
Sailor Moon. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Should we do questions?
Should do questions.
Okay. So, Emmy, what is your favorite genre?
Okay, so I've been thinking about this ad nauseum, and I obviously the genre I read the most and consume the most and never get tired of is poetry.
Okay.
But
Yep.
I feel like that's not difficult to talk about, but like not everyone reads poetry, even though I'm always trying to evangelize it, because I believe that I live and die by the adage that like poetry is for everyone.
Mhm.
Okay.
But I feel like talking about poetry is more like talking about music, in the sense that like a book of poems is like an album where it's like a whole album. You can be like, oh yeah, wall to wall bangers, love
Yeah.
every song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's like, okay, I don't love every song, but I love certain songs. And like that's kind of how I feel about a lot of books of poems. Poetry books like are conceptual, can be conceptual, and you can read them like as a whole and take them as a whole. But a lot of times it's like, oh, I love this poem. This like
Mhm.
one poem like really resonates with me. And also there's different genres within poetry, so I kind of feel like it's hard to talk about. In terms of like genre,
Mhm.
I love contemporary fantasy, like hard fantasy that's just like, and I love like fantasy like Lord of the Rings, like Harry Potter
Mhm.
obviously, we're talking about that. But contemporary fantasy like hidden world,
The
like a
Magicians?
like the magicians, like
Yep.
something that there's something magic just on the other side of like a real world like setting. I love that. Like growing up, I loved like The Borrowers.
Mhm.
Like
Okay.
even
Oh
something
my god,
like
cute.
little people under the floorboards, like you're living in like an ordinary house, but there might be fairies around. One of my
Yeah.
favorite book series as a kid was the Spiderwick Chronicles.
Okay. I didn't read
Um
those, but I've heard of them.
Oh my god, so good. It's a 5-book series. It's more it's like middle grade. I don't know if it's we call it like young adult, but I still have my books. Like those are the books that like I'll never get rid of. Those will never leave my library. But it's about 3 siblings who move with their mother into what is essentially a haunted house. It's a big Victorian house in the middle of the woods.
Love that.
Because their mom inherits it from like her great uncle, Arthur Spiderwick. And the kids are and there's like an older sister and she has 2 twin brothers. And she's like mad at everyone and she fences, so she's like she can do swords, which is really cool.
Yeah, that is
Love
Wow.
a girl with a sword.
Yep.
Like
Yeah,
one of my favorite things.
of course.
Um and they're exploring the house and they find their great uncle's like research and his art and his paperwork and like his field guides, and it's all drawings and watercolors and notes about like the fantastical creatures that like live in the
Oh.
house and like
Mhm.
on the grounds, and they kind of like start to like follow in his footsteps.
I love that.
And it just like really it like unlocked something in my brain because I
Mhm.
always I always like have been attracted to like this idea of like there's the real world as we see it, but there's like something else like happening like right behind it, which is
Yeah.
also why I like ghost stories or like something like supernatural, which is like
Yeah.
it's real people dealing with like supernatural monsters that are like
Yeah.
infringing upon like their actual like real lives. Like something about that has always been like very attractive to me. Like I really dig that. And the thing that's fun about the Spiderwick Chronicles that again like really got me going was that they sold Arthur Spiderwick's field guide as a separate book, which I also another thing I have right here. This
Oh
is
my god.
it. And it's like one of the most more beautiful books that
Oh
I
my
Yeah.
god.
own.
I love that.
And it's like there's maps and shit. It's like really cool. Like this is a little sprite
Oh.
guy.
Oh my god, that's
Yeah,
so
so like
cool.
I would be reading this at like 10 years old, being like, I'm gonna go out into the woods and find
Yeah.
one of these.
My god, I
And I
love
think
that.
informed a lot of my personality as an adult, to be honest. So yeah, I love that. That and also anything magical realism.
Okay.
Mhm.
If there's like a touch of like just like even like a whisper of it, I'm like, yes. Like normal people, normal girl going about her world and like, oh, there's like something like weird happens. Like Water for Chocolate. Have you read that book?
No.
No.
Oh my god.
Uh,
It is like the pinnacle like magical realism book. It's like the story of a family and how emotions can be cooked into the food that you eat and can like
Oh.
impact the people around you. And there's like a scene where like the food gets too big and like the house explodes or something like that. And it's like very absurd,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
I haven't read that book in a long time. That's definitely not something that happens, but it's similar, but it's like this kind of like absurdist like fantastical idea that like magic like kind of lives like it's like kind of like lives among us,
Yeah.
and I really like that. So like any book that's like dabbling in that, like I am interested in. I also love anything experimental. If someone's playing with form or doing
Oh.
something that a book shouldn't do, I want to know about that. Like if they're playing with the page in a way, if they're like spacing things, and this is where the poetry comes in.
Yeah.
Like if
Yeah.
they're doing something weird with a genre, I want to know
Yeah.
about it. I want to see it. I'm
Okay, cool.
interested. Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
The
I feel
weirder
interesting.
the
like
better.
well, I mean, I've certainly read a couple things that I didn't even know were genres recently, and I was like, "Oh, okay.
Oh yeah,
This
like
is
what?
interesting." The one of the books that we read for the podcast is a horror romance, and I first thought about it, and I was like, "Oh, I'm sure that there's, um, it's either one or the other, and or it's like it's really not that scary. It's not horror. It's probably just a mystery." And I was like, "Oh, oh yeah, no, I think yeah, this is horror."
That's
Yeah.
cool. How to Kill
Yeah.
a Guy in 10 Dates. I just
Yeah.
watched that movie.
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
yeah.
the other one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just
How to Lose a Guy in 10
How to
Days.
Lose a Guy in 10 Days, yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna bring up Dungeon Crawl one more time. It's lit RPG, which is like a subgenre of sci-fi, and it's basically a written video game. And it's just something I had never experienced before, but like when I did some research, it is a very niche genre. I do think that Matt Dinniman, who wrote Dungeon Crawler Carl, I think is probably one of the only lit RPG writers to get as mainstream as it is, but you can certainly find them online. Almost like a Dungeons and Dragons type of publishing where, like you can like buy Dungeon and Dragon
Yeah.
campaigns. They're almost published in the same way where they're just a little bit of like, if you know, you know
Yeah,
type of
yeah.
books.
Yeah, that's cool. Is it like those books where it's like a story and then you have like options and then you flip
No.
to the page?
Yeah, it's not. It's not
not
one of
like
those
that.
books, but man, do you remember those? What
Yes.
were like the choose your own adventure
Choose Your Own
books?
Adventure. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, those were so much fun. Bring those back.
I read them as a kid, but you know what I want? An adult choose your own adventure book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
could
that would be so
fun.
much fun.
Yeah.
I think the last time I even read something even similar was that it was a romance novel, and one of the books had a choose your own adventure smut scene. So like it was like they got into an elevator and there was literally right above they're like, if you're interested
Whoa.
in reading the smut, this is your chapter. If not, skip it. I'm giving it a try. She literally like broke the wall, author's note, in the book, and I've never seen it again, but it was something that did happen in that book.
Oh, that's
That's
interesting.
kind of fun. And that's like, and I love shit like that because truly like a book can just be anything that you want.
Yeah.
You can
It's true.
Yeah.
you can really just like do whatever.
I like that too, because as much as we preach, the formula is the genre is the formula, and that's why people like to read like romance.
Yeah.
I also like it when genre breaks form in some way, and then
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, cool. Now this is something else. I thought it was going to be a smutty little romance, but there's no happy ending. Now what is it?
Oh yeah, it's like breaking. It's my favorite type of thing to read is like because I do love like something formulaic and I like do and I hear that and I do agree like the genre's the formula for yeah like what you just said, but I feel like genre is like kind of like a box that you put a story in,
Mm-hmm.
and I like
Yeah.
anything that like breaks that and kind of like subverts it and tries to do something like weird and cool and like never been done before, never been
Yeah.
seen before. Especially from like a writer's perspective, I'm always like, how are we having fun with this? Like,
Yeah.
how are we doing something different, or like how are we playing? How are we making it like fun for ourselves and like playing and kind of like breaking those barriers? So yeah, anything like a little weird, I kind of like.
All right, so if someone's never read, and I think maybe let's go with your like contemporary fantasy. Like if somebody's
Yeah.
never read that genre, what would you hand them first? Like,
I was trying to think about this. What would I give them? Like, I would try and be like, maybe you should read the Spider-Man Chronicles. Just like give it a try. I know it's a kid's book, but it's like really fun.
I know,
Like, because you said that, and I'm like, I really could, like, as like
And
a
it's an
cozy
easy-
book.
yeah,
It's an easy read. It's like a
Yeah.
cozy little book. Like it's fun. I definitely would recommend like Water for Chocolate
okay,
because I wouldn't call that contemporary fantasy, but definitely for in terms of magical realism.
mm-hmm.
Because I feel like my genre is contemporary fantasy / magical realism, and they kind of like hold hands. I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Like temporary fantasy is very much like you're on the subway and there's like a troll in a suit,
Yeah.
going to work. Like love that. And then magical realism is like the magic is kind of almost mundane in a way. It's just like naturally woven into the fabric of life. But contemporary fantasy, the Raven Boys. Have either of you read The Raven Cycle?
Oh, no, I haven't, but I've definitely seen it. I think when I became aware of it, it felt a little YA for me, and I didn't read it, but I know people love it.
Yes. Okay. So another thing that I love to evangelize is YA.
Yeah.
YA fiction. The Raven Cycle, totally like get like feels too YA, but it is just like genuinely like a very good story. So The Raven Cycle, the first book is The Raven Boys, and it follows this girl, Blue, and her name is Blue. It's like, okay, we get it. You're not like
Yeah.
other girls. Your name is
Yeah.
Blue. We get it.
Yeah.
But it follows this girl, Blue, who is this young girl in a family. She lives in a house just of all women. her mom and like all her aunts and her cousins, and it's all women, and all the women in her family have some kind of psychic ability. They're like fortune tellers, they're tarot readers, they like do all this stuff. And Blue is the only one that doesn't have like any psychic ability or like any kind of ability. But what she can do is every year the women in her family will like stand on their porch and like the sun will rise and they'll watch the spirits of the people in the town who are going to die that year. And Blue sees a boy that she knows. And so this is where there's like the romance element that comes in. She sees a boy that she knows and she doesn't know his name, but she recognizes him. And he goes to the Raven School for
Okay.
boys. No, and listen.
It's so no,
listen,
it's this is
listen,
so
no,
cute.
Yeah.
Like I'm like
listen.
I love this.
And so she's like, I have to warn him. And so what unfolds is like a found family, like big friend group. Everyone has some kind of trauma or ability or like thing that they're working towards. And it like culminates into this like mystery about like this ancient Welsh king who like came to America.
All right.
There's like and this is where like the contemporary fantasy of it all like comes in is like there's ghosts and I think there's not a vampire, but everyone has like they're like following this legend. The town is like set on like a ley line. So there's
Okay.
all this like there's like the veil is thin and
That
like
Sunnydale,
yes,
Buffy and
exactly,
Sunnydale.
exactly.
It's the
Yeah.
There's a lot
Hellmouth.
of like there's a lot of like the veil is thin and like there's magic and there's wood in these
Oh,
woods and
I
like
love that.
weird shit happens in this town and it's like and also there's like a slow burn between Blue and like this boy and also like homoerotic tension between like the boys and like the friend group. Like it's
Okay.
like
Okay.
it's
Okay.
really it's very very good. And it's like it's a whole series. I remember the first time I read it I was like this is everything to me. This is everything I've ever wanted.
Yeah.
In a fantasy book. And um Maggie Stiefvater is the author and she writes a lot of books like this,
Yeah.
but I think like the Raven Cycle really stands out. So it's a trilogy and the first two books are great. The third book for me, not my favorite. Not my favorite and not because I don't like how the story like comes together,
Yeah.
but because she kind of gets like too this is the thing where like a writing style can really turn me off of a book.
Okay.
She gets so flowery with it.
Okay.
She gets too poetic. And I'm like, girl, just say what you mean.
And
Just
you're
tell
like
me what's happening.
you're like I am a poet and this is too much.
Have they found the tomb of the Welsh king? And are they going to get the magic sword? And are they going to save the town
Yeah.
that's on the ley line? Like, what's happening?
We were questing. We weren't writing poetry. We were
Yeah,
questing.
we were questing and like, what's going on? So yeah, I usually recommend that series to people, even though it is, and I always go, I know it's YA.
Yeah.
That's
It's
okay.
intense.
It's okay.
It's intense.
I actually love that because I feel like I need some more like before bed books where I'm kind of getting sleepy and I just want something a little
Yeah.
bit more not like feel good, but just not totally complex that I need to keep all these things together.
Yeah.
Um
Like my smutty little romance books that I read before I go to bed because
Yes.
it's fine. I don't got to pay attention to it. The characters might be different, but the story's the same, and that's what I like.
Exactly.
It's like a lullaby, putting me to sleep every single night.
yeah.
Okay, so do you have like books you read like in the real world and then books that are for bedtime?
Well, I know Elise does, but
Yeah. Well,
I do the same thing. This is why
yes.
I'm asking.
It's
Yeah.
usually romance books. Contemporary romance books are usually what I read when I go to bed. But then that's like not 100% of the time. Like I was just reading Red Rising. I just finished that today.
Oh, how is
and
that?
I liked it.
Okay.
I
but you
will
didn't
say
love it.
I didn't love it. I am interested in reading the next book. It was a lot of war. Okay, it was a war book for a lot of it, and I also can't get behind the war books. And so if you gave me 75 pages less war, I think it would have been a good book. Like the world
Yeah.
was cool. How the main character ended up in this war that was technically part of a school is very interesting. But I am now interested that the war is over to see what happens next because there's also this. So that's what I think about Red Rising. But I did like it though. I did like it. But I just think some people are like, it's their favorite book ever. Carrie is the reason why I
Yeah.
read it. And I did
Yeah.
really like
Yeah.
it, but it's
It
not my
wasn't
favorite
your
book ever
fave.
for sure. But
Okay.
like I was involved enough in it that I read it before I went to bed because I was like, oh, I want to keep reading this. And then I'll listen to like a personal book during the day a lot of the times. And then I'll usually read/listen to like whatever we're doing for genre. Sometimes before
Yeah.
bed, sometimes not. But yeah.
Yeah. How many books do you read at a time, Emmy?
Oh my God. That's such a good question.
Uh,
The limit does not exist.
yeah.
I feel like I'm in the middle of so many books that like I put down and then like weeks will pass and I'll be like, "Oh, I haven't picked this up in a
Fizz.
while." And like
Yeah.
that'll be the book
Yeah.
that goes in my bag for the day.
Mm-hmm.
And like
Okay.
I'll read a little bit and then put it back down. Right now, my in the world book, my bag book is Crying in H Mart.
Okay. I've heard very
Um
good
That's
things
funny.
about that. Yeah.
it's it's really good. I just started. I'm only like two or so chapters in. It's really good because I do like a memoir. I love a book of
Yeah.
essays. This is not a book of essays, but I like that kind of style. Creative nonfiction, I guess. But it's very good. I know it's going to be a crier. I know that because it already kind of is getting me a little bit.
Two
Um,
chapters in.
2 chapters in, I'm like, I love my mom so much.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. I'm like, I have to call my mom. And my bedtime book right now is it's a sequel to the book Divine Rivals.
Oh, yep.
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 I forget what the
Ruthless whatever's. It's on the
Ruthless
Yep.
Vows,
Yep.
Ruthless
something
Vows.
like that.
Yeah.
Yes,
Something like
yeah.
that.
So I'm reading. So that's my bedtime book right now, and
Yep.
I like that series. I really
I-
like that
mhm.
series because in terms of war, because I'm
Yeah.
with you, Elise.
Yeah.
I'm with you guys. Like I don't too much war. Like even in the Akatar books, like all the war, I was like
It was too
skimming. I was like
much.
passing through. I was
Yeah.
like
Me
enough.
too.
Let's get to the dialogue. Let's
Yep.
get to the characters.
Same.
Let's get to like let's move past this. I don't
Agree.
care about how the troops are moving. Like
I
who gives
know.
a shit?
Yeah.
Who gives a shit? Yes. But what I like about that is like war is like a big part of the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not like
You're not in battle with them.
you're not in battle. And this is again like this idea of contemporary fantasy. They're journalists
Yeah, I know.
reporting on a fantastical war between two gods.
Yeah.
And they're just like going to work.
Yeah.
Like in a newsroom. I love that.
I do kind of think it's a good, like, I remember reading that and I'm like, well, that kind of is like the world today, like where you could be
Yeah.
in war and you're talking about it and you're writing about it. It could be affecting you. It could not be affecting you. And I thought that was I thought that was very cool. I did really like that book.
Yeah, I really like it. It's also like a series. Like I read the first book and then I like told my mom to read it and she really
Mhm.
liked it. And then she was
Okay.
like, "We're reading the sequel together."
Aw.
And so she finished the sequel way before me. It's been months. So
Oh my
I'm
god, that's
really
so cute though.
I'm really trying to finish this book because it's also funny because she doesn't like really read fantasy. My mom, you know how moms are. My mom
Yeah.
loves a World War II
Oh.
historical women book.
Okay.
She's reading like the Nightingale and stuff like that.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
she's been trying to get me to read that goddamn book.
I know.
Wow.
And
She got it for me for Christmas.
it's some of people's favorite books too. But I'm not interested.
Now I'm
not
like, I feel
interested
like
in
our
reading
mom
World War
might have
II.
read that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems a little heavy for mom. Mom's not
It
looking for
is-
something that heavy.
Yeah, I guess.
she's not
She'd
looking
like
for
a-
like women struggling during the war and like writing each other letters. That's my mom loves
Mm,
that. She
no.
eats that shit up.
No,
She loves it.
I think our mom would love a historical romance.
Yeah.
That she would really like.
My nighttime book at the moment is the Unselected Journals of Emma M. Lyon. And, like you're reading her journals, right? And it's Victorian and she thinks she's gonna, take back over her house, but her uncle spent all of her money and now she's just being scrappy in London trying to figure things
Yes.
out. And it's so cute and the books are so short. The books are all under 200 pages and they're just her writing in her journal telling about the day and there's I think 7 volumes out right now, but there's these like shorty little books and it's just her
That's cute.
being scrappy and she has like the tenant next door and maybe he has a crush on her and maybe the duke has a crush on her, maybe the vicar
Duke.
has a crush on her, all of these things, but meanwhile she's like not interested, at least at this point, really in any of them because she's like, I'm so poor that I'm not gonna get a good guy anyway. I'm just gonna try I need to try and make myself rich, and that's
Aw,
what she's
good for her.
doing. I
Yes, she's
imagine it'll
making it
change.
work.
I know, but I wanna see I'm gonna, like, read a little bit more, but I think our mother would love this book. Like, I'm
Okay.
gonna give this book to mom, but I wanna, like, read to at least, like, the 5th volume, and then I'll decide.
All right, what do you think the biggest misconception about your genres are? You know what? Maybe do poetry.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
because it's a big I think that it's, like, mostly misconception.
Yeah.
That's the one I can easiestly speak to. Easiestly? Is that that's not a word.
No.
Um, just invented and that's poetry.
And that's
Just
poetry,
like inventing
baby.
words. This
Yeah.
is the thing. I think the biggest misconception, easy, is that it's boring.
Mhm.
That it's like homework. Um, that it's just like, oh, like I read some poetry in school and like now I don't have to do that anymore because
Yeah.
that was homework and that was boring and like I hated that. To me, like poetry is like the purest form of storytelling because poetry has like this rich history. Before it was even written down, it was just like oral tradition. It was music. It was people
Mhm.
singing. Homer's The Iliad and the Odyssey is like an
Yeah.
epic poem, but like that was spoken and sung before it was ever even written down.
Yeah.
And that was like that was like entertainment. That was
Yeah.
like what they were like sitting around a fire and like listening to
That
that,
was their
you know?
programs. Their
That was their
Yeah.
programs.
programs.
Yeah.
Like I even think like in high school, like I got into really into poetry because of like spoken word and like slam poetry because I was
Mhm.
watching it and like listening to it. And it made it more accessible. It was cool because when you're like forced to like sit and like read a poem, and like obviously for me, like I sit and I read a poem and I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Like this is great. I'm having a great time. But people associate that with like sitting in a classroom and like being told how to think about
Yeah.
something. But when you're reading a poem, like what you're really doing is like you can't be told how to think. You have to understand that you're reading how someone is thinking.
Mhm.
Like
Okay.
a poem is just like to me like a translation of like how a poet's mind works and like their translation of like an emotion, a feeling, like an interaction they may have had, a memory, and they're trying to invoke that feeling in you as the reader, but you may feel something entirely different
Mhm.
reading that. But the truth about poetry to me is that it is like deeply emotional and like if you're not feeling anything when you're reading a poem, the poem's just not for you. This is the thing about comparing it to music. Like
Mhm.
sometimes you just don't like a song, but sometimes a song really gets you.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel or like that's how I feel about poetry. But there's just so many different types. There's so many different poets. There's so many different ways a poem can be that when people blanketly like are blanket like I don't like poetry, I don't read poetry. It's like, okay, I really you have not read the right poem
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
You have not read the right poet. You haven't found your poet. And all it takes is one poet to like open up this whole entire world of storytelling and thinking and histories and just ways of seeing the world. Because when you read a poem, you're looking through like a whole other lens
Yeah.
at the world that you didn't even consider. And so I will always evangelize poetry for that reason. For me, when I'm writing a poem, I'm just like writing how my brain works. I also
Yeah.
think of poems as like little puzzles. Um, because if you think of like a poem as like every word, every space, every punctuation, every letter, every comma is like intentional and thought out. It's like a house that you build
Yeah.
on the page. And so when I'm reading a poem, I'm looking at it as like, okay, I'm like solving like a puzzle. I'm
Mm.
like figuring out like what the poet was thinking. And well, what do I think about this? How am I bringing my experience and my knowledge and my feelings to this piece, to this work? And like, how am I gonna solve it? And how is it going to inform me and like my own poetry? Because for me, I can't like separate reading poetry from like my own craft of it.
Yeah.
It all like informs the other. Like if I have writer's block, I'm going to read. And I feel like that's like that's like a common rule for writers. Like if you can't write, you should be reading because that will usually like unlock something or like give you an idea or like give you a perspective on something you're trying to tackle that maybe you didn't think of.
What are some of your favorite poets to recommend to people? I guess the same question we asked before, but now just with poetry. Like, what would you give somebody who's like never read it before, who says they don't like it?
I would tell them to read Mary Oliver. When I tell other poets this, they'll be like, "Ugh, Mary Oliver, really?" But her poems are they're not like easy. I don't want to describe it as like easy to digest, but like, the way that she writes, she states things plainly. Like you guys know that poem, the Wild Geese poem. Lots of edits on TikTok to this poem.
Maybe
Oh,
I've seen it
yeah.
and I never even knew.
She has this whole thing about like watching the wild geese land, and she's like, and I understood my place in the family of things.
Okay.
Um, and someone making an observation, like seeing a
A
goose land
goose?
on a lake, and then being like, oh, I understand like the point of me. Like I'm
Mhm.
watching like an animal be an animal, and I understand like my place in the world as well as an animal. So Mary Oliver, definitely. Blue Horses, I would recommend in terms of a book, because that's my favorite. I also had a spiritual experience reading that book next to a lake while I was camping a
Oh,
few years ago. Because I was reading it and I watched wild geese land on the lake, and I was like,
Okay.
"This is it.
that's
This
it.
is it.
It's
This is it.
speaking
It's
to
happening."
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a pointed breeze like blew by me, and I was like, "That's every woman who came before me and every woman after is like with me, and like this is it." Like that's it. And that's the power of poetry. Another poet I would recommend to people, especially if you're not a poetry reader, Anne Carson, Autobiography of Red,
Okay.
and anything anything by Andrea Gibson. Andrea Gibson was, rest in peace, was a prolific spoken word poet, and also like published like a bunch of books. And their poetry is like what got me into like performing my poetry. Like
Yeah.
I've loved them since I was like I started watching them in high school, and I was like, this is what a poet is. Like they made poetry like cool and like kind of like rock and roll,
Yeah.
and not just like this kind of like stuffy thing that you only like have to suffer through in English class. It was like, oh, this is like a lifestyle and like something like that cool people do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
So yeah.
remember when we were going to your book launch and Amanda was like, "Ooh, you're gonna get to hear Emmy read her poems out loud." And
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess." Like usually the authors read an excerpt from their book at a launch party. And then when I heard you like read, I was like, "This is a performance. Like
Yes.
this is powerful."
Yeah, and yeah, because I came I came up in like a spoken word slam poetry environment, and like I got my MFA, and like I went to grad school and I did the fucking thing, but
Mhm.
everything I really learned about poetry and like how to write a poem, I learned from like other performers in that world, from like slam poets and like spoken word poets, and like getting up in front of a microphone and like being vulnerable in front of a crowd of people, and like knowing that like if your poem, I still believe that like a poem should be as good and get the same type of emotional reaction you are looking for from your audience written on the page as it is when you read it out loud.
Mhm.
It should be just
Yeah.
as good. Like a difference between like a page poem and then like a poem meant to be like read aloud.
Yeah.
Because this is also like experimenting with form. Like there are poems that like it's like two words on a page and they're spread out, but like what matters is the two words and like how much they're spread out, and like that can like get like an emotional reaction out of someone. You should still be able to read that out loud in an interesting way
Yeah.
that gets the people going, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Remember Most Deaf's poetry jam was on
Yes,
late
yes,
Yeah.
night?
yes,
Yeah.
Late
yes.
night? Oh,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah,
electrifying. I was
yeah, and
tuning in at like 11 p.m. on Saturday nights or something.
yeah. Man, bring back shows like that,
I
because
know,
that is how
right?
you
Yeah.
bring that's how you bring poetry into like a mainstream.
Yeah.
Or get people that like normally wouldn't read poetry to be like, oh, like what's what's this? Like what are these
Yeah.
people do? What are these people doing with language in a way that like I didn't know how language could be,
Yeah.
or like I don't know. And it's like, yeah, it is electrifying, and
Yeah.
it's just like fun. I feel like if I didn't have that experience, I maybe wouldn't be someone who's like poetry is fun and poetry is for everybody. But I feel like
Yeah.
that is crucial. The issue is convincing other poets.
Oh. Other poets are like, slam poetry is not for me.
Oh my god, yeah, when I was this is
Oh.
like a whole other podcast, to be honest.
Okay.
To be honest, but yeah, there is like some poets who don't have this experience are like, "Okay, but like that's not real poetry."
Yeah.
And
Oh.
it's like, "All right,
Oh.
well you're boring and you don't
Yeah,
like to
no.
have fun.
Yes.
And you also don't think poetry is fun."
Okay. I
Um,
hate that,
Yeah.
Just being
yeah,
like,
Too serious.
don't
Don't take yourself
too
too
serious.
serious.
we don't need to be
But
so
yeah, too
serious.
serious. At the end of the day, like it's art and art should be like kind of fun.
Subjective. Yeah.
Subjective. If art's
To
one thing, it's
everyone.
subjective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I have a follow-up because I think it sort of hits a little bit with your, contemporary fantasy. Not exactly, but it's close. Have you watched The Interview with the Vampire Show? The AMC
No,
Interview
I
with the
haven't, but
Vampire.
I really,
Okay.
really, really want to.
I just finished it. Okay, so it's 2 seasons and it's pretty much complete. It's a take on the books, but they make some very interesting changes. I
Hmm.
actually think all of the liberties that they take were good.
It's like
Were
super
really
gay,
good.
right?
Super gay, which is
Yeah, I love
great
that.
because obviously that's the subtext that couldn't be written. So yes, made the subtext between Louis and Lestat explicit. They
Okay.
did something really interesting with the interviewer. So like it's now taking place in 2020. It's COVID, and the
Yeah.
interviewer comes back after meeting with Louis in the 70s, and Louis calls him back to do the interview like one more time. And
Ooh.
so it tells all of the story again. It's just really interesting. And
Could be more seasons, or is it just like 2 seasons and then we're done? Do we
I
know?
think there's a third season.
Because I love a show that's finished.
Yeah,
I can just watch it.
Yeah,
you
no.
could watch these 2 seasons and never watch again. The Louis story from when he was made to present day wrapped up in those 2 seasons. You
Okay,
wouldn't need to
love.
watch anything more. It's like it's a complete story arc that that you can watch. So,
Okay, love. I really loved the movie with Tom Cruise
Oh
and
my
Brad
God.
Pitt.
Hell yeah. That was
Um,
such a classic. Kirsten
so yeah,
Dunst.
the show's been recommended to me so many times. It sounds like I would love it. And like
yeah.
right up my alley.
Yeah.
Um
It was so good. I've been desperate to talk to somebody about it, but for some reason I'm the only person who watched the show in my immediate group of friends. I
I
keep
mean,
Oh
asking
my God.
everybody.
Okay.
I watched some of it and it was just you got to pay attention and I was busy. Whenever I put it on, I was
You had to
busy
do something
doing stuff.
else.
So, yeah. So I never finished it, but it was really good. It
There's a
definitely
lot
was
of
I
good.
French in
do
it, so there's a lot of
yeah.
subtitles. So you do
Got
have to
it.
sort of pay attention. Yeah.
I do love a show where I can also scroll at the same time, which is not
Yeah.
good for your brain
Yes.
and your neural
No.
pathways.
But it's
So
not this
Yeah.
show.
You do have to
yeah.
have those shows, though. Like, those shows
Yeah.
have to exist. It's the epitome of my smutty little romance books. You still need
Yes.
the ones that you don't have to think too much about, but then you gotta bring in the thinkers every once in a
Yeah.
while. So, okay, here's our last question. Out of the genres you gave us, poetry, contemporary fantasy, magical realism, if you had to choose one, which one would be the one that you would read for the rest of your life?
Poetry, easy.
Yeah, I figured.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and then what would you cheat on poetry with? Like, would you would it just be those other books that you're talking about, or would you like sprinkle any more in?
I cheat on poetry with YA fiction.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry,
I love
guys.
that.
It's
Yeah.
that's my comfort zone is YA fiction.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
I've read Sarah Dessen's books like so over and over and over again like that, and that has nothing to do with fantasy. Like that is pure grounded like
I
realistic
think that was
fiction about like
Morgan.
teen
It was
girls.
Morgan,
Uh,
and she brought that up. She's like, "That's what got me into reading was
Yeah.
Sarah Dessen
yeah.
books. Like, I loved them so much."
Yeah. Her books are that's like a big comfort zone for me. Is like I love her. Um And yeah, just like yeah, YA fiction. I don't know. It's like that's like
Yeah.
easy, like curl up, like. And I know that because like there are books that are like cotton candy for your brain, but like not YA fiction. Like really isn't like that. But it is like
No.
you can
Yeah.
truly like curl up and like get a good story. Um, that's like no one's like oh, well, people do die,
Yeah.
but there's
Yeah.
like not like
Fault in Their Stars.
yeah. Oh my god. That's a book I'll never read again. Like
Yeah.
I don't think yeah.
never ever gonna read that book
I
again.
don't think you even read it, Katie. You're like,
No,
"Oh,
I
that'd be
would
enough for me."
never. I would never.
Spoiler, she dies. Yeah, that or anything by Kurt Vonnegut, to be honest. I'm like all over the
Okay.
map.
Oh yeah, that's all over the place. You're like
All
YA
over the
fiction
fucking place.
poetry. Kurt
Yeah.
Vonnegut.
And then let's throw Kurt in there, just like at the end.
Yeah.
Just like as a button.
Yeah, just like
Slaughterhouse 5, anybody?
I was gonna say Slaughterhouse 5.
Slaughterhouse, my favorite book of all time.
Not
Slaughterhouse
cozy.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
cozy for sure. But I mean, it's
Not
an excellent
cozy.
book.
I mean, to me, yeah. To me it is. I'm reading that and I'm like, this is, me and Billy Pilgrim on Stuck
You're
in
just
Time.
like, you're
This is
curled up in your bed, and you're like, let's go to the
and I'm going
slaughterhouse.
from like optometry school to World War II in the trenches to a spaceship, and I'm like, this is it. This is comfort.
You're so well rounded.
Yeah. Poetry, YA fiction, Slaughterhouse 5. I like specifically Slaughterhouse 5.
That's my holy trinity.
That's really
That's it. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all you need. And with that, I think we've learned all about Emily. All right. Well, thank you, Emily. It was an absolute pleasure to have you on Off Book.
It was the honor of my life. Thank you so much for having me.
It was so fun as always.
It's so much fun.
Tell everybody where they can find you. Where can they buy your book? Where are you on the internet?
Yes. You can buy my book All the Time More Than Anything at Finishing Line Press or on Amazon, but don't buy it there. Go to the don't buy it there. Go to the press, like buy it directly from them, give them money. And you can follow me on Instagram at e.zogbi. That's Z as in zebra, OGBI. And yeah, follow me there. And if you want to buy my book, the link's I have a link tree, so you can just do that. It's easy.
And we'll also put it all in the show notes.
Yes.
So,
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll link it for you.
So thank you so much. This was
Thank
so
you guys
fun.
for having me. This was so much fun.
We could do this for hours.
We could do it. And we say that to everybody we talk to, but like I think particularly in this case, because I think we just absolutely barely scratched the surface.
I know. There's so much more. There's so much more to say.
This could have been like an hours long sleepover, and I would be like, this is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
And this is how this podcast started.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And remember, no genre shaming unless it's funny. Bye.
Bye.